Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is the night that makes us love wrestling the way we do. If you did not watch Dynamite, you missed the biggest fucking debut, the most shocking debut we've seen in years, as Tommy and Malakai Black showed up out of nowhere during the middle of his 90-day no-compete clause. Guys, what do you think? What a fucking episode.
Oh, man. Unbelievable. I mean, and here's the thing. We're here. Today's the anniversary of the NWO. Obviously, we're not here to talk about that, but that was one of the biggest. Yeah, Too Sweet Brothers. But I mean, that was one of the most shocking, ultimately the shocking, things that happened on professional wrestling. But tonight, it's like, man, it's just like all the pieces fell together, and I mean, I tell you what. I don't know how this came about, but to me, Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega, Tommy Inn, those people are geniuses. I think they're geniuses. I mean, and so is Tony Khan. Everybody. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
I got nothing to add on to that. What awesome. First off, what an awesome Dynamite that was. In full, right?
My God, yeah.
Everything was so good, from the strap match all the way down to the Young Bucks fighting, Penta and Eddie Kingston. It was just so good. But I'm so happy to see them on the road again, doing all the fun. And the lights went out during that strap match, and I thought that was it, but they saved it for an even better time. And it couldn't have been sweeter than it was, man. All kudos out to AEW, Tony Khan, Cody, all of them. They fucking nailed it tonight, man.
When the lights went out in Cody's match, I turned to my wife and I said, something big is happening tonight. And she goes, no, the lights just went out. What are you talking about? I'm like, no, I've been watching wrestling too long. The way the commentators commentated on it, I'm like, something big is happening tonight. And then when it happened, I don't remember the last time I popped like this watching the show. I literally jumped off my couch and yelled, oh my fucking God, I can't believe it. My wife looked at me like I was nuts, but what a fucking moment, because I loved Aleister Black. I was looking to see him return to WWE. We all know what happened with that. We just talked about that in the video, just a couple of days ago on here. We did a video about that. And now we know the story already, what's happening. And holy
Super
shit,
pumped.
Oh my God, my blood is pumping. This is why we love wrestling. When it's done right, there is nothing better.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And even for him to come up against Cody and Arn Anderson, shit, man. What an impact for him to just pop in there and be like, what's up? We're running the show now. I'm so damn excited, man.
Man, I can't even tell you. I'm never gonna sleep tonight. When wrestling is this good and the show is that good, you're just adrenaline when it just gets going. And to see him attack Cody like that, and to see him hit Arn Anderson, I can't wait to see where this goes. Here I am again, back to being a kid where you can't wait for next week's show. Right. We have a whole week to wait to see what's gonna happen next. This hasn't happened in wrestling in a long time.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I tickets go on sale for All Out tomorrow. The Dynamite beforehand. I am so beyond pumped that I live 20 minutes away from the Wow Center or whatever they're calling it. I'm so pumped, man. Man. This is just building up to be a fantastic year already for AEW, and we're just coming out of the gates and population wise, you know what I mean? I'm so excited to see where this goes. Kudos again to Tony Khan and AEW crews, man. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
So go ahead, John.
I just don't understand, not only but of course we saw Aleister Malakai, I gotta get used to the name. But Andrade, of course, he had a great showing as well too.
Awesome.
Looked like $1 million. What in the hell is WWE thinking?
Man,
what do they do?
The same thing. How long is Nick Khan gonna last if this shit continues to happen? If he's true, they're saying he's the one behind these cuts and he's making the picks, which I don't know how much I believe. At the end of the day, we all know Vince has the final. We're not doing that. We're doing that. But if he convinced Vince to do it, he's not going to be sticking around long. There's only going to be one con in wrestling.
You can't, after tonight, they're just, I mean, they got to be able to see social media just at a buzz. And then they've got to be like, especially like their sponsors. I mean, obviously their sponsors are big, right? They're television partners, Peacock. Obviously, of course it's WWE product. Everybody, when you say wrestling, oh, you mean that WWE stuff, right? It's always going to be the thing, right? They're the Coca-Cola brand, let's say, but but still, I mean, there's got to be some kind of tide, and I think that tonight could be a huge tide a huge shift in that tide, where some awakening's got to happen at some point, where WWE's got to be like, okay, crap, we just messed up,
They gift wrapped him, put a bow on him, and handed him to AEW. The guy who could have been a staple of their company for the next 10 to 15 years, they just gave to AEW on a silver platter.
Couldn't agree more, man. Like he was already a package before WWE picked him up, which is it's hard when nobody really gets that like privilege right nowadays, and seeing what they were doing with him before they released him, it's just asinine to think that like, holy shit, we're already here. Like the fact that he's already on AEW, what has it been, like less than a month, maybe a month since he got released? Fucking mind blowing, especially with the 90 days clauses that have been going on lately and everything. Good for him. I'm so excited to see where this like evolves into in the long run. It's going to be amazing, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you had a guy who had a massive following in WWE before they decided to, like, he was over. Like, you couldn't find any of his merchandise in stores. His figures were non-existent when they came out. They sold out everywhere fast. You couldn't even get them on ringside. That's how fast they were gone. And they just didn't use him right. He was over. When he wrestled, he was over. You heard it when they had the live crowds there. So they were just lost with him. Like the Turnbuckle Tavern. Holy fucking hell, fellas. What a debut. That's how it's done. And we couldn't agree more. And I cannot wait to hear their podcast tomorrow and hear them dive into the whole Tommy End thing and just the whole show in general, because they're going to crush it with the detail they go into. So make sure you listen to the Turnbuckle Tavern tomorrow morning.
Can't wait to listen to that.
Check it out. The best AEW podcast out there. Mm-hmm. Check it out tomorrow morning. It's going to be awesome. But back to this whole thing, I can't wait till it kind of leaks. How did he break the 90-day non-compete clause? Did AEW buy it out? Is he just appearing and they're going to pay the fines? It's like, what's going on?
I think he was exempt from it because of like, it was such a like so close to time firing. Like it was out of the blue, right? And like usually if you're the one breaking the contract and you're the one asking for the release, they'll slam that shit down on you all day long. So I really think that there was this like it was the perfect moment. You know what I mean? Like he was released without him asking for release because they're building him up so much. And then it was just like, okay, like, well, since we're the ones giving the commands here, like ignore the 90-day, clause. Like we're fine here. So I really think it was like a perfect storm. You know what I mean? Like I think it just added up so well, and like, yay for us, the fans. Because that's just good shit, man.
Hey, listen, this is. Oh, go ahead, John.
I'm sorry. I think it has to have done, something with the Zelina Vega returning, and Tommy. I don't think that's by accident. It's got to be something like they struck a deal. Like, look, we want, because the women's division in WWE is floundering. There's no talent there. I mean, not what I mean by that. Not enough talent. There's what, like 5 or 6 women on SmackDown. Something like those lines. I mean, the women that are there are great. I'm not trying to say that they're horrible or anything like that, but there's just not enough people to go around. I mean, they're doing this Bianca versus Bayley thing right now for like the fourth pay-per-view in a row, but I think it has to have played a factor. It has to have, and I see right there the comment from Turnbuckle Tavern. It just. it just can't. It can't. It's just too coincidental. Too close together.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird. Would that happen Friday, or was it last Friday?
yeah,
And now this.
Yeah, SmackDown.
Did WWE rush to have Zelina not wait for the live crowds because they knew this was going to be happening? They had to reach a deal. They haven't let anybody out of their 90 days early. So
No,
very few people. I believe somebody was last year.
there was somebody. I'm trying to remember who it was.
I can't think of who it was. I know there was somebody last year.
Pretty sure there's somebody on AEW too that popped up really early, and like it happens occasionally. Like I'm pretty sure like Braun has a 90-day clause.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's like, who would want to put that monster on TV so fast after you get rid of him? And I'm not even a big Braun Strowman fan, but like I see his potential and his value. So like I would see WWE keeping a big hug on him.
But
like,
they should have done the same thing with Aleister.
They should have, yeah, absolutely. Especially with the money they put into him, man.
What's crazy is he had the same gimmick with the crazy eye. He had that when he came in, did the black mass on Big E, had the crazy eye, the good father gimmick or whatever he had. And tonight he's got the crazy eye, Yeah. It's been 6 weeks since we've seen that? They're so protective of their stuff. It's unbelievable. There he is. It's unbelievable that they even let that go,
Wow. What an image that is. Shit, man.
You wonder, how much of the Dark Father that he worked so hard on, which was going to be the run he was going to do when he came back to SmackDown, he's bringing to this now. I'm sure he's going to be taking, snippets of it because he loved the character so much. But what I can't wait to see next week is the ratings for AEW because, we didn't know this was happening tonight. Like, you go back to Jericho dropping on his podcast a few months ago, TNT didn't want them doing any more unannounced surprises. And we got it tonight. Thank God. I'm so glad this wasn't announced earlier in the day or anything like that. And we got it. So now we don't really know what the ratings are going to do till next week. And you bet a whole hell of a lot of people are going to be turning in next week to see what he has to say.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I really think Tony Khan is not going to let that the big surprises slip beside his hand, especially with live crowds coming back. Like, that crowd was amazing tonight. What a perfect,
it was awesome.
Perfect moment, man. Like, I've been craving for these things for the last 16, 17 months, we all have. And like, shit, dude, like, what a perfect, like I said earlier, perfect storm to happen when a live crowd. Like, I'm beyond ecstatic for not only the AEW fans but the rest of the roster, the crew, the team. This is going to be some badass shit that's going to happen soon, and like I'm here for it, man.
Man, this is only the beginning because, like you said, the fact that they came out and they did this right away. I think Tony Khan said earlier today they have somebody they've been holding. I don't think this was that person.
Me neither.
There's somebody else. Maybe somebody that had a little yes movement going on, because I don't know who else he could be talking about that they've been holding on to and waiting to debut. Tommy End. Tommy End has only been a free agent, a few weeks. They haven't been holding on to him that long.
Yeah.
So there's something else planned. There's other surprises. There's other great things coming.
Man, yeah, that's the thing. I kind of almost forgot about Daniel Bryan. And it's been kind of genius with that. But God, dog, I tell you, I'm almost speechless. I was actually reading them, probably about 15 minutes before. I read a little article about the Malakai Black name change, and I was like, that's interesting. I didn't get it. There's actually a video online. I didn't get a chance to actually watch it because I was watching AEW. I was kind of paying attention to that. But then, like 15 minutes later, he's like appearing on my TV screen. And I'm like, what?
I'm telling you, man, that's what made this even better. If this would have been at All Out, we would have been expecting it. And it would have been awesome. It would have been awesome. But this shocked the shit out of us. Yes. That's what made this moment what it was. This is like Lex Luger showing up on Nitro the week after he was on Raw. Nobody had a clue he was a free agent. This is what makes wrestling awesome. This is what we need to see more of. This is what having two major promotions is going to do. We're going to see people jumping back and forth. And WWE better realize now we better get with it, because if we don't, you're going to be left in the dust, and all the diehard fans are going to move on.
Yeah, actually, I would put this above I put this as Scott Hall walking down
exactly.
in the, of course he didn't cut a promo, but this is right there. I mean, you don't know who you are, but you don't know why I'm here. And then top it all off. Not only are we going to probably hear from Malakai Black next week, the card is amazing next week. We got Matt Hardy versus Christian, Ethan Page versus Darby coffin match. I mean, they're going to continue on with the storyline with Hangman and Kenny, which that was a great promo. I mean,
holy shit! Let's take a second to talk about Hangman and Kenny. Holy fuck, was that brilliant? So good. Dark Order coming out first. The Bangkok little jab there. It was hysterical. And then it grew so organically to where Hangman's like, I'm coming out. This is my time. Like they played that so well. I think they're doing such a good job building these long-term storylines, especially with the Hangman spot. Holy shit, is this going to be like? I wrote in our group chat earlier. I was like, please don't ruin this at Fight for the Fallen. Like, give me Hangman and Kenny Omega at All Out. Like, I want to be there for it.
Well, and that's a good point. I was kind of thinking, maybe Hangman would come on the mic and be like, right, you know what, Kenny, you're right. You don't have an opponent for Fighter Fest. You don't have an opponent for Fight the Fallen because I'm your guy, and it's going to happen at All Out.
Yeah,
and just get with it, and it start building. Just start having matches with different, the Elite and group and Dark Order, and
this
the whole show, just from beginning to end tonight, was fire. The Adam Page, just feeling the chemistry from the crowd and the way they react to him, and seeing him all decked out and looking so friggin' cool like that. And nothing against Daly's place, but it was so nice just to be in front of a real arena again,
absolutely,
and seeing this setup. It just made it
good.
So much more special, man. The whole episode. I can't wait to see what they say tomorrow on the Turnbuckle Tavern.
Oh man,
it's going to be an amazing episode. When you have, this is what we hope for. We're back touring. We're live in front of audiences, and you couldn't have kicked it off any better. WWE next week. WWE, you got live shows starting next week. You got a lot of fucking work to do because I tell you, man, I can't see any way in the world you're coming close to anything that was on Dynamite tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one.
I don't want them not to. I want them to, but I just don't see how they can, seeing what everything's been done recently.
We talked the other day about how I've fallen out with WWE as opposed to being like a hardcore diehard fan. I really hope that they can combat with this kind of energy and this kind of momentum, but
excitement.
The long-term me knows that they can't. That's it sucks. It takes the life out of watching you. Like, you were begging me to watch Raw the other day, and I was like, I want to.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm the fan in me. I've been doing it since '88. I want to watch it, baby. But it just does not compute. I'm like, oh, I'd rather put my AEW toys in a photo shoot as opposed to watching Raw this week. And it's a damn shame, but it's so true. And this just combats it even worse because look how good this was. And
exactly,
last week's episode of Dynamite was great, but this was on a different level, Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be hard to compete with that, even with AEW standards. Bring it on, man.
And Mike, I've told you, the last few weeks of Raw up until this week, I was really enjoying it. I felt like they were doing something different. The shows were better. There was more of an excitement. The booking was a little different. And then they just laid a big, wet fart this week, for lack of a better word.
They ran out of steam. It's it's like they use all their brain power over the last 3 weeks. Those Hollywood writers, those great Hollywood writers they have over there.
I totally knew something was up when there was a Ricochet versus John Morrison match again, and of course you could do that and you could do it right, but it was the same shit over and over again. And then they did they did a big spot over the Miz, and I was like, why is Miz in a wheelchair to begin with? And you're like, it's from the Zombies. I was like, still, fucking still, this is what we're dealing with, man. Oh God! Thank God that we have like this balance of like wild out there bullshit, and then AEW.
I'm going to play devil's advocate just for a second because the reason, looking back at what happened this week, with Morrison and Ricochet, they had the whole count out thing again where Ricochet got counted out. But this week, I'm really looking forward for the Falls Count Anywhere match, which that should be lights out with those two guys going at it.
They're not going to not deliver. That's my opinion on it. But WWE is going to hinder that in some way or form, and I don't mean that in a shitty way. It's just like, somebody's going to book like, oh well, maybe there's going to be some interference and it'll screw the whole thing up, and that's just me being, a shitty fan of WWE at this point.
Unfortunately, that's what we've come to expect from them. It's just a sad thing.
I'm just hoping that maybe they're holding their cards so when live fans come back. That's
same.
That's just.
I think we're all hoping for that.
I think thank God. This Friday will be the last SmackDown in the Thunderdome. We got 2 more Thunderdome shows. I'm just like, counting down the days. Let's get out of there. God,
no, I said the Thunderdome was an awesome concept, but it wore its welcome way too soon, and like especially with the crowd noises being piped in, like it just sucked the energy out of the video drones that were in the building to begin with. This loud live crowd that AEW's got going for them since a month ago almost at this point, and like they're just killing it. And like you can't have a wrestling show without the people that are paying to see that wrestling show interact with the the talent, the program that you're putting on, the art that you're painting on the board. You need comments, and you need somebody posted right before AEW went live that what's his name, the Hobbs. Big Will Hobbs. Well, he came out and they were chanting Big E at him. And I was like, good. I was like, let them get it out of their system before the show starts. Yeah. Like I'm here for it, man. But I was so hoping like when WWE did Mania that it was going to be like the crowd was finally going to rip them the shit after this 12-month span of like not being in front of people. And it was just like, oh, here's more piped in crowd noises, like let's have a good time, and it was fun. Let
me ask a quick question, and before we get out of here. So we see Malakai Black get that big reaction tonight. So where do you think it goes from here? Obviously he's way over with the crowd, and Cody's supposed to be the face. Is this the beginning of Cody's heel turn?
Ooh, that's a tight one.
Well, that's what I was at the beginning match. I was a little disappointed because Turnbuckle Tavern. If you've listened to the last few weeks, and I've agreed with them, I was hoping we would see some type of heel turn tonight because I can't wait to hear what the Hawk says tomorrow because we know he's not a Cody fan. That was like my first thought. I'm like, oh man, the Hawk's loving this. But anyway, I was interested to see, if he was going to turn heel tonight. To be honest with you, and I haven't watched that video, but I saw it's kind of supposed to be kind of gory and. When I was Malakai Black, but
a little dark,
a little dark. I can't see him being heel here, but I mean it was a heel move to attack Arn, to attack Cody, but I can't see him being. Here's the thing with AEW, they're gonna be very fluid with it. They're gonna say, okay, he's getting cheered. Well, let's turn Cody heel. Let's start turning him heel some way. Maybe you put Arn with Malakai Black or something like that. Maybe Cody attacks Arn. That's kind of what people have been kind of clamoring for. And then he ends up going with Malakai Black. So I don't know. It is time for a shakeup with Cody though. And I thought about this at Double or Nothing. It's like, a lot of people gave him grief for the longest time. I was a supporter of his, and still am. But it's time for a shakeup with Cody. It really is.
And for those of you watching live on YouTube now, type in a comment what you think. who's going to be the face, who's going to be the heel. Is Cody turning bad? Because I'm curious to what people think, because the guy's over. He's going to be cheered. So maybe Cody gets mad at the crowd for cheering him. And it's like, how do you cheer a guy that attacks Arn Anderson?
Yeah.
I'm all for a Cody change. I feel like it's almost long overdue at this point, especially because he can't challenge for the AEW championship.
Right.
You really have to be pushing him in these bigger storylines, or else like it's going to take away from the fact that, like, you know, he's Cody Rhodes. Of course he's amazing, blah blah blah, but like I would love a chance to boo him and like see him turn heel. That would be fantastic, especially if you turn on like Arn Anderson. People would lose their shit because, like, you know, that's what we've been built up this whole last like 14 16 months, is that like we're the Nightmare Family. I would love to see a huge program with Cody versus Aleister, where it just blows up so much to where Aleister comes out on top and Cody becomes this like thriving, you know, evil heel that we know Cody can play a great heel. I'm all for that. You know what I mean? Like that would be a fantastic outcome from all this.
Is Tommy End going to be the guy that Cody finally puts over?
Can
I just go there? Sorry.
I would love it, man. Taking away the strap match was fantastic, by the way. I don't mind. But I hate QT Marshall. I'm not against Cody going over QT Marshall anytime, but I would love to see, you know, Aleister Black get this huge push out of all this, because who else is going to put him over to the moon? You know, you got so many guys in programs right now in AEW. It's not like you can go, you know, disrupt Darby's storyline and be put over by Darby. You know what I mean? Like, so it's gotta be somebody like a Cody that's gonna make it a big deal. Darby and Aleister would be.
I know. When you said that, my God, that's why I said, "Whoa."
And let's just play a little more fun. You know, poke fun here. So today's the big NWA anniversary. Malakai debuts today. Does one of the other releases debut next week? Is this going further?
I honestly, I wouldn't want to see it. I would like to hold it back a little bit. Like, this was definitely fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'd like to hold back because you just don't want this bang, bang, bang. Hold it back a little bit. You know, maybe you know, at the premiere of Rampage, they're gonna need something, a banger there. You know, to get people to tune in at 10 o'clock on Friday nights. You know, so. You know, you're gonna have to put something. Maybe you even. I'm not even opposed to necessarily, and I know Mike's not gonna like this. Is going all out. Put a banger. Put Aleister and Cody on Rampage. You know, put on.
I'd be for it, man.
You know, let's go.
Oh, for sure.
You know, if you want,
I'm hoping to get tickets to Rampage too. All right.
Well, they're selling.
That's right. I forgot
let's pull it off, man.
They're selling a package of 3.
I forgot it's gonna be the same building.
All 3 shows at once.
No, I feel like we have so much unexpected things that could happen in the future, especially with AEW and how like wild they've been with things. I feel like the next couple months and the next year is going to be full with a lot of crazy shit that none of us heard. Like even Ben and I had, like you said earlier, Daniel Bryan just kind of slipped our minds because we're like, holy shit, Aleister Black's on, you know, TNT right now. This is huge. Like what happens if, you know, Hangman beats Kenny Omega at the, you know, All Out pay-per-view, and then, you know, Daniel Bryan comes fucking walking out, and like you get
stop.
I'm a booker, god damn it. No.
Can you imagine that arena if Daniel Bryan comes out? Holy
where
crap.
else would you do it? You know what I mean? Like, where else could you, besides a CM Punk pop in Chicago, who else would you book to come showing up and just melt the whole arena? Remember when Mox came out at Revolution or, you know, anything, and it just, people were like, what? Like, you know, jaw-dropping bullshit. Like, those are the moments we all live for as wrestling fans. And I think Tony Khan gets that more than anybody. And he's going to be like, fuck you. Like, pull your heart out of your chest, put it down. Sell it to me for $20. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm so for it, man. I can't wait for the future of this. Whatever the fuck's got the plan on, even if it's not Daniel Bryan, like I can't wait to see where they're going with.
If it is CM Punk in Chicago, watch out. The roof is going to blow off of that building. Holy crap. But all right, guys, thank you for joining us. Everybody who's out there watching it. John, plug yourself. Tell everybody where they can find you. The Coming Down the Aisle podcast.
Yes, Coming Down the Aisle podcast. I will be basically because of all of this craziness. I'll be editing late into the night. Usually I have it ready to go after AEW, but yeah. So it would be Thursday morning. Early Thursday morning. You'll be able to get it this week, but usually Wednesday night, Thursday morning, every week. Coming Down the Aisle, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those good spots where you can get your podcasts.
All right, Mike, your turn. Plug yourself.
Yeah, brother. I'm Mike Belcaster on the Instagram and on the Twitter. Yeah. We follow the Pyramid Wrestling Podcast where you get all your toy information from. Yeah, brother. Yeah, man. Just come follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Pyramid Wrestling, Mike Belcaster. Anything you need wrestling, action figure wise, anything you need wrestling wise, just shoot me a message, man. I'm always down to talk to people, hang out, and just have a good time talking wrestling, man. So I appreciate y'all.
I can attest to that because I am too. We all are. We all love it. I am the OG Fit Kid. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Do not forget tomorrow morning the Turnbuckle Tavern reviewing tonight's episode of Dynamite. It's going to be an awesome episode. Check it out. Get all of our links at theturnbuckletavern.com. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.